It's a nice bright sunny day today, so I got a rare chance to get outside and show off what's probably my favourite Seiko 5, and actually probably my most worn watch over the last couple of years. So this is the Seiko Urchin, and a lot of people call this a homage watch, and I can't disagree. It does take a lot of design cues from the Rolex Submariner. However, I think this has quite an injection of Seiko flair as well. Just now it's 12:05, so it's not the best time for showing the face, but you've got that nice Seiko 5 badge sitting on a 40mm case with this red and blue aluminium bezel. It's running a Seiko 7S movement, and I think, like most of the Seiko 5s which run the 7S, this model now seems to be discontinued. Originally this cost me £125 from Amazon, and that's an absolute steal for a watch with this kind of specification. You've got what seem to be applied indices. They're not printed. They don't sit flush there with the face. They are raised, and you have a bit of silver chrome surround on there. You can see one of the downsides with a sunny day like today, and that combination of Seiko's own Hardlex mineral crystal, is that you do get a bit of reflection. Yeah, I mean there's a bit of glare there, but what you do get is a really sturdy workhorse of a watch. It's got a rotating bezel. You've got the day and date. It's water resistant to 100 meters. It's automatic, and at the risk of just reading what's on the face of the watch, it's got 23 jewels. This one came on a Seiko bracelet, and I decided to replace that a couple of years ago. So now it's sitting on a combination of a strap code oyster bracelet, and I didn't like the clasp, so replaced the clasp with a Zulu diver clasp. But the strap code bracelet is great. It was just the standard strap that, the standard clasp that I didn't really like, so I swapped that out. But sitting on this strap code bracelet, this watch wears quite heavy. It's quite a sort of, I wouldn't say it's a chunky piece, but it's weight enough that you know that you're wearing something, and it feels like an object that's good quality. The only downside I think with this watch that I notice is the crown. The crown's tiny. It's really small for my hands. I can turn it, I pull it out, I can turn it, I can adjust it. It's not as bad as some of the much smaller Seiko 5s. But for a guy with larger hands, I'd prefer a crown that's slightly bigger. I think stylistically a slightly bigger crown would have complemented this watch as well, but then perhaps a slightly bigger crown takes us back into Rolex Submariner territory, and maybe that's why Seiko went with a slightly smaller crown. I suppose the size of crown that I'm thinking is the one that's on the other Seiko homage, the 55 fathoms. That kind of size would have been quite nice on this watch, but it's not on it, so there you go. You've got a display case back showing off the 7S movement inside. Because it's a 7S, it doesn't have hacking or hand binding, but being honest, it doesn't matter. It's just this really great sturdy wee watch, and it looks great. The size is just perfect. 40mm case is just perfect on my wrist, and it looks good with anything. Really, with anything. I mean, I've been wearing suit and tie with this, and it goes fine. It goes fine. It's got a bit of a Bond feel to it because it's a bit Rolex Submariner-esque, but no, it looks really good. I think the only thing that you probably couldn't pair it with is a tuxedo, but yeah, then you're in a totally different territory. So this is my most worn watch. It's the one that I pick up and put on. I choose it over the SKX 007 or 009. And the reason for that is actually, it's the same reason that a lot of people hate the 5KX, the new Seiko 5 Sports. The reason I picked this one up is because it's got a pull-out crown. It's not got a screw-down crown. And it's just that extra little bit of convenience of just being able to set this quite quickly without having to unscrew it, without having to worry about, screwing it back in, accidentally threading it or forgetting to push it back in, or it's just slightly faster to set than the SKX, which is also a watch I wear a lot. But yeah, I don't go swimming an awful lot. This watch does get wet, and it's out in the rain. It's there when I'm washing my hands, which I've been doing a lot of recently during the pandemic, and I don't take it in the shower. I think I've worn it in the bath once, so it's really just getting a splash at most. But yeah, the reason it became my most worn watch, and if my camera will pick this up, is because when I was on holiday or vacation once, I managed to just get the tiniest little scratch on the bezel, just between the 50 and the 55 marker. You can maybe see that there. And since then, because it's just been marked, it's become my kind of go-to watch. I figure, I've scratched it a little bit, so if I get it slightly scratched now, it doesn't particularly matter. But the rest of the watch is running fine. I mean, I need to maybe adjust the time on this once every 2, 3, 4 days. Varies depending on how much I'm wearing it, but usually it's good for about 3 days, and when you get to 3 days I'll maybe notice that it's running maybe about a minute faster, so it's within the same within the parameters that Seiko expect, that sort of plus 30-40 seconds per day, which is fine. Don't mind having to adjust it once every couple of days. It's not a problem. But yeah, I mean, guys, look at it. It just looks great. Just really good for £125. Excellent. And the only downside is, I think it's discontinued. So I've not seen these anywhere near that kind of price point now. If you do see one, then I'd suggest picking it up. It's great. I might get some comments, I'd never wear a homage watch. Yeah, well, good on you. You go and get yourself a Rolex Submariner and spend however much you want to spend on a watch. What, 5,000? Nah, you'd be lucky to get one for 5,000. £10,000. This is £125. It's an automatic. It feels good. It looks good. It's solid. It's water resistant to an extent. So on that basis, that's why it's my most worn watch. Is there anything else to say? Not sure. There's just most things I like about this watch. The case shape, just nice and neat. Those hands, they're quite simple. So yeah, there's nothing about it that I don't like. The only niggle, as I say, is that slightly small crown, and the pop of red and blue just make it. I think it's perfect. Anyway, so that's my quick overview of probably my most worn watch, the Seiko Sea Urchin. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video.